This season, Jim and I set out to find the best trout destination we could. For us, best meant pristine surroundings, limitless water, and wild trout that would take a well-placed fly. We did our research, and this is where we ended up. This is Fly Fusion Television. Fly anglers to be very rational thinkers. For example, trout eat worms and we criticize a fella for using a San Juan worm. Trout eat eggs and we criticize a fella for using an egg pattern. Trout eat mature aquatic insects. However, we don't criticize a fella for casting a dry fly. It all makes perfect sense if you really think about it.
Are there stereotypes in fly fishing? Dude, I rose a 20-inch bow just upstream. Broke off though. I'm Jim McLennan's biggest fan. I want to be just like him.
What's that rubbish you have on the end of your line? You call that a fly?
I saw a fly fishing movie in like 1992. It was the best movie. And I love fly fishing. Brad Pitt's the best fly fisherman. I don't think so.
We found ourselves talking about stereotypes within the fly fishing community and realized that there are some. There's we have the species snobs, the people that think one species of fish is the only one that matters, and we have the method snobs, the people that only want to fish with a certain type of method, dry flies or nymphs or something like that. And then we have the big fish snobs, and then we have the fish counters. There really are some stereotypes within the fly fishing world. Luckily, neither Derek nor I fall into any of these categories.
Okay, so that was supposed to be sarcasm.
Yes.
Some people see fly anglers as elitist, and I think that in some ways we've earned that because I know that some fly anglers feel like, you know, we're better than everybody else, even though I don't think so. I think that what's the most important thing is that, you know, if you're out with your family and your kids and you're out there just enjoying the water, enjoying catching fish, then that's the way it should be.
Today, Derek and I are floating the St. Mary River in British Columbia, and this is a river where you normally can fish dry flies from the raft most of the day, and the river is known for lots and lots of fish that really, really like to come to the top. So that's what we're planning to do. We'll find out if it works.
From what I've heard, the St. Mary's is on right now. There's lots of fish coming up for dries. And so we're going to see how that goes. Chances are, if I get my way, I'll be throwing some big hopper patterns and stuff to the fish today, to the cutthroat. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is just some of the stereotypes that we have of each other as anglers. Maybe, you know, there's the kind of that classic like steelhead guy who thinks that the fishing that he does is the very best, and then maybe like the trout guy, like what we're doing today, we think that we're the best because we're bringing up fish to dry flies, and it's funny because in fly fishing and fly fishing is, you know, it is such a small community, but even within fly fishing there are certain stereotypes that we have of each other and different anglers, and
He wouldn't know what to do here. He's a lake guy.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, okay. We'll explore that.
Explore the majestic Canadian Rocky Mountains, where clear freestone rivers and pristine mountain lakes are home to wild, pure-strain westslope cutthroat trout and impressive monster bull trout. Let our local Fernie guides lead you, challenge you, and inspire you in one of the best fly fishing destinations in North America. Fernie, British Columbia.
I grew up in this area. We're on the St. Mary's River today, and it was one of those streams that I was fishing in my early teens. My buddies and I, we'd jump on our bikes and ride the 15 kilometers from town and use the binder twine and tie our rods onto the bikes. And then we'd come out here, fish for the day. And it was funny back then, I can't even remember bringing sunscreen or food or anything like that. It was rods and reels and gear. That was all that was important. We'd ride out here and we'd fish for the whole day. So yeah, it'll be nice to get back on this water again.
We started catching fish immediately. I was using a little wolf, and Derek was using, oh, who knows what Derek was using, some ridiculous fly. This guy out here.
Big fish.
Whoa.
Nice start.
There he goes. Yeah, there's a good start.
Good job, my friend.
Good starts make me nervous. They're bad omens sometimes.
At the start of the day, I had a few fish come up, but sometimes with cutthroat, I get a little too eager and I pull that fly a little too soon.
There you go, Derek.
Oh.
You see him coming up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I got one by accident.
And that was the case today. But Jim, being Jim, the legend, he was right onto those fish right away. At the start of the day, I talked to Jim, and we decided that he would go in the front of the boat at the beginning of the day, thinking that maybe selfishly the better fishing would be towards the end of the day. And he started, he was putting on a clinic for me out there at the start of the day.
St. Mary is a classic freestone river, big boulders and rocks on the stream bed. It's never more than a few seconds, it seems like, between one great target for your fly and the next one. Some rivers are not like that. Some rivers, the pools are spread out and you kind of got to bide your time between them. But there's so much good water here, it's really hard to find a safe place to throw your fly. This is classic fishing from a drifting boat where you've got to look ahead, see what's coming, and try and hit it with your first cast. And then once your fly's drifted through that spot, forget about it. Look for the next one. It's kind of a high tempo way of fishing. It's really a lot of fun, and it really, you got to kind of stay on your toes.
There he is.
There he is. Nice take. Nice take.
That's a good fish.
Got him out of there now. We're good. We're good. Oh, that's a nice fish, yeah. There we go. A lovely westslope cutthroat. The fish made for dry flies. One of the unfortunate perceptions of fly fishing is that we're an elitist bunch and we think we're better than other people who fish other methods. And I think we probably have ourselves to blame, maybe for at least allowing this to continue and not being maybe as inclusive as we should be with the sport. There's nothing about fly fishing that's better than any other method. It's just different. And those of us who do it would say it's more fun. And I think that's where that discussion should end.
I'm Jim McLennan, and I write the Watermarks column in each issue of Fly Fusion magazine. I've also written a book called Watermarks, which is a collection of my best magazine pieces over the last 30 years. In it, there's sections on the where, the how, and my favorite, the why of fly fishing. Trout Streams of Alberta is a book about the great fly fishing in my home province. You can purchase either book online by going to troutstreamsofalberta.com or by calling 1-888-435-9624.
What we're doing today is 100% classic kind of dry fly fishing for cutthroat. I don't know, you may throw in a few egg patterns or nymphs, but I'm going to stick with the dry flies today. So
Because you're such a purist. Hey. For the first part of the day, I think Derek must have been maybe napping in that back seat because I caught a lot of fish and I don't really remember whether he caught any or not. There's something about this seat, isn't there? This is the right seat to be in, I think. I'm noticing it. Well, Derek was catching fish, I guess. I didn't really see much of it, but he said he did. And later on, he actually caught a pretty decent one. And then a little while after that, he caught another, pretty decent one.
nice St. Mary's River cutthroat caught on a dry fly. you ever run across like actual species snobs when it comes to fly anglers? Like,
Oh yeah. The brown trout are the smartest fish and the hardest to catch. So, you know, so if you really catch a lot of brown trout, you're a better fly fisherman maybe than somebody who catches other fish.
Right.
But you know, every species will have its its fans.
yeah, it's fly fishing for steelhead, for example. It's not the best way, not the most efficient way to catch a steelhead.
No.
But it's but you know, I think that you had said earlier on, you said, you know, sometimes we don't do things because they're easy, we do them because they're hard.
That's right. That's right.
See, I listen to you, Jim. It's not that I ignore you all the time.
I don't have to pay much more attention to what I'm saying.
So I saw this one. I saw him come up twice out in the foam line out there, and then he rose to this fly here. So. And then he rose once for me, but he missed the fly, and then I cast it out again. So as far as scenery, I mean, we're in the Rocky Mountain Trench, right? And so there were times today as we were floating where we could see the Rockies. They were just massive on the horizon, where we could see the Rocky Mountains, and we could see a peak called Fisher Peak. There was one time where we came down the river and there was Fisher Peak right in front of us. And it was absolutely stunning. It was absolutely stunning.
In all seriousness, I think that Derek and I may have set the world record for double headers today. There was, I don't know how many, but lots of times when we both had fish on, and that's a sign of very good fishing. Nobody told me these fish were going to be so slippery. They're hard to, well, it's hard to handle some of them. They like to do a lot of wiggling, as my daughter used to say, and sometimes you don't get that classic release that you like to get. Sometimes it's more like I don't know, like a little bit of basketball or something. Normally when your fishing partner hooks up, you reel in and you watch him land his fish. We did that for the first few fish. After that, it was like, who cares, he's got another fish. The day basically could be summarized by saying I caught a whole bunch of fish in the morning, and Derek caught a few. And Derek caught a whole bunch of fish in the afternoon, and I caught a few. And I think it's the seat in the boat. The vast majority of the fish were caught from the front seat of the boat, which, if you wanted to be serious about it, there's a definite advantage to get your fly into the good spot first. And the guy in that seat has the best chance to get it in there.
This is a pretty special day for me on the water because I left this area to go to university. So in my late teens, early 20s, I left this area. And coming back today to be able to fish this stretch or this river again, it's this was my home water. This is the water that kind of nurtured me as a fly angler. And so there was a lot of places that we went past that brought up a lot of memories. And it was a pretty memorable day today, being able to float this stretch again and seeing places that I used to chuck flies when I was in my late teens. So it was a good day, really good day.
September in the West means cutthroats and dry flies to me, and that's what Derek and I did. And we had just a terrific day on one of the West's maybe unheralded but great trout rivers.
Some really nice kind of 15, 16-inch cutthroat that were coming up to dries and that we were getting, especially as the evening went on and as we got into the evening fish, we caught lots of really nice fish tonight. So the light's getting low and the fish are taking hard. The bigger ones are coming out to play. The last kind of 2 or 3 have been around this size here.
Regardless of method or style, fly anglers all have at least one thing in common. We're drawn to the water's edge in search of fish, willing to become part of our narrative.